Hello, I'm Ian Scales, you're watching TelecomTV, and I'm joined now by Kasper Sylvest, who is the Head of Financial Market Infrastructure at Danske Bank. Kasper, welcome and thanks for coming and talking to us at TelecomTV.
Thank you for inviting me.
Tell us a little bit about being a Head of Financial Market Infrastructures means.
Financial Market Infrastructures in Danske Bank is a team where we are responsible for the financial infrastructures in terms of payments, card payments, digital identity that we as Danske Bank use when connecting to other banks in the interbank space. So we are responsible for the compliance that makes sure that the infrastructures are compliant with regulation. We are also making sure that we choose in Danske Bank to use the right infrastructures, the most efficient and cost-efficient infrastructures. But we are also looking into the new opportunities, new regulation that's coming affecting payments. And we try to look into how to leverage the new opportunities from that.
Okay, now this regulation that you talk about, of course, is the European Commission's PSD2, which stands for Payment. What does it stand for?
Payment Service Directive number 2.
And it's the second one.
Yes.
But what it does is basically open up the banks so that other third parties can, directly dip into people's accounts, essentially.
Yes, that's a part of the directive. Yeah. In fact, there are 117 articles. Only 4 of them governs the access for third parties. So there's a lot of other things. So there are a lot of other things. But it's true. The purpose of PSD2 is to strengthen competition in the payment space, and also enhance security on payments, and also increase consumer protection. And that's been done by regulation, mandating banks to choose a dedicated interface for regulated third parties to access customers' payment accounts, both private customers and corporate customers, given they have provided consent, of course. Then we can do account information services and payment initiation services.
And it's clear that you are not able to charge for this. I mean, the big changes.
True. The PSD2 governs the area where there's no agreement between a bank and a third party. Any payments that, for instance, that's initiated via a third party can be charged to the customer, just as we charge the customer with regular payments. We are not allowed to discriminate the price. So in case a customer pays one price for our e-banking solution payments, then that price has to be the same if the payment is initiated via a third party.
Now, when I first heard about this new regulation that's looming and is going to come into force next year, although different countries are going to take longer to implement it than others are, I thought, well, surely the banks are screaming blue murder about this. Explain to me why they're not up in arms.
Well, I think first of all, it's regulation, so we know it's not going to go away. So we better accept it sooner or later. But at first, it sort of had to sink in, because it's basically like if you go to a hospital and say to the medical staff, I'm going to use one of your operating rooms, I'm going to use your equipment, I'm not going to pay for it. That's basically what this is going to do. But we've decided in Danske Bank to say, okay, this also provides us with a lot of opportunities. And first of all, PSD2 will now start regulate the existing third party. So we'll have a more level playing field, which is something we very much welcome. We'll be able to also control the security, which is today it's not so good, because customers today share their credentials with a third party. And in a country like Denmark, where we have digital ID that can be used for banking, online health journals, taxes, you can even sign your divorce with it. So sharing that with a lot of third parties is not a good way. But when we do this in a regulated way, create open APIs, then we can control it, and for the purpose of protecting the customer, of course.
Now, what sort of you talk about opportunities? What sort of opportunities might they be? Is this opportunities for new products or new relationships with third parties?
Yeah, actually both. We have a lot of positions. First of all, we can continue as we do, service some customers via the traditional banking interface, because that's what they want. Others would like to have other user interfaces. Now we can provide our products via these third-party interfaces. And we'll also ourselves become a kind of a third party, providing accounting aggregating services. So in case our customers are multi-banked, we can provide a common overview of all their accounts in one place. So they are still, we still hope to keep the customer relationship.
In terms of IoT, what sort of opportunities do you see IoT in that broad sense, delivering to you at Danske Bank?
IoT have a lot of different potential. First of all, IoT is a lot about the devices exchanging data. And you could say every time that data is exchanged, it could be a payment, which is interesting from a bank, or you could also say you need to pay for the data. So that's why it's quite interesting. But there are also all the other data information, the sensors that sort of tell about the customer's behavior. Where is the customer? Like, for instance, the mobile phone explains right now that I'm here. So, and that is something that we can use to provide more relevant services to the customer. The relevant real-time services, saying, okay, we know you are here right now. What do you actually need? We can sort of use predictive analytics to guess what you need here, and then offer that the right thing at the right time. That's what we can do with the IoT.
In terms of challenges, say, I mean, techno-optimists say that, you know, in the future, every device that's capable of communicating could be a payments device. Are we getting to the point where we have to give serious consideration to limiting the number of devices and therefore the complexity of payment relationships out in the market?
I think it will happen quite naturally, because people will not be able to understand how many places they have their payment instruments, for instance. But first of all, there's a security issue we need to get in control of, because today a lot of the connected devices today do not have any real security. So putting in a payment instrument is not really an option at the moment. But I would say generally the payments area is changing a lot right now, and we will see a lot more fragmented view over the landscape over the next couple of years. I usually compare it to how we communicate with each other. For instance, on your smartphone today, you have a lot of ways to communicate. You have email, you have SMS, voice call, but you also have Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn Messenger, Instagram, Snapchat, and you name it. And the funny thing is, they can all do the same, communicate. But you use them all at the same time because you use them in different contexts. That's the same with payments going over the next couple of years. We will have payment instruments in many different places because we need them for different purposes. Eventually, there will probably be some kind of consolidation, just as we saw in the 90s with the chat programs like ICQ and IRC or whatever they were called. Suddenly, they could also talk with each other. That's also going to happen with payment, but it will take a couple of years.
What do you think the payments landscape will look like in the next 5 to 10 years from the bank's point of view, Kasper?
Well, from the bank's point of view, I think there will be a shift in the payment instruments. We are moving away from direct debits, and also card payments will also decrease in volume, and things will move toward credit transfers, where the customer pushes the payments. So merchants will use an electronic invoice, request the payments, and then the customer will accept the payment and push it through. That's definitely going to happen. Another thing is also that from a bank perspective, we'll have a lot more competitors. Again, due to PSD2 and the general increase in competition, there will be a lot more players in the market for some years, at least for the next 5 years, and then we will see some sort of consolidation where things will be back to not normal, but more like the situation we have.
Well, I was thinking as you were saying that, it doesn't make a very attractive proposition for us customers. I already don't feel in control of all my cards and my payment options and so on.
Yeah.
I reckon that consolidation might come pretty quickly.
I don't necessarily think so, because this is still very much new open territory, and there are a lot of players out there who wants to give it a shot on their solution. So, but I think we already have some very well-functioning payment instruments that have a very good global acceptance, like some of the international card schemes. They will, of course, still be there, but you might see more tailor-made solutions to specific payment situations for the next couple of years, and then there will be some sort of consolidation. Again, how many wallets do you actually need?
Exactly. Well, thank you very much, Kasper. That's very interesting.
Thank you for having me.